Welcome to the Hartley Hawks Network. I'm Bob McElligott. It's time for this week's Football Coaches Show. Matt Melle is with me, the head coach of the Hartley Hawks. And Matt, first of all, you're going into year number 2 here as the head coach at Bishop Hartley. What is different from year 1 for you? I would imagine it's probably a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot different this year, obviously. We're a lot of excitement headed into our first game against Dublin Coffman. But, you know, having that full off season with the program, with the kids, just getting a little more familiarity with everything, the way things are working here. Just feel a little more prepared walking into this week 1 than we were maybe last year. We were scrambling a bit, but we still got a great challenge ahead of us, and you know, we're going to have to play great football on Friday night, and we're just looking forward to a great season.
Going through last year, you're evaluating the underclassmen that would be coming back this year, doing that throughout the entire offseason. What's the intensity been like in the training camp for you this year?
So it's been competitive. One of the things that's kind of changed from last year is we have some competition for playing time. So you know, that's going to make us better, we hope. We think we're going to have an opportunity to really have, some really good football players on the field on Friday night, create some depth throughout camp. And as a result of some of those battles, you know, I think we found some guys that are going to contribute for us on Friday night that maybe, you know, a month or so ago we didn't think might find a way on the field, but now we're pretty excited about them.
And that has got to be great for the players and great for the coaches too, right? That's what you want to see, development before you even play a game.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm very proud of the staff, the work that they've put in all offseason really, but in particular the last few weeks with training camp. You know, we're really trying to build a culture here of based upon hard work and character and competition. And, the staff has bought into those pillars, and they're doing a really good job of developing the kids from a football standpoint as well.
You know, it's easy to talk about schemes, but sometimes it's hard to stay with the same schemes because you have to really go with the personnel that you have, right? So have you made adjustments in the way you're going to play at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to make adjustments. You know, we lose a 3-year starter at quarterback and McElligott. We lose Hartley's all-time leading rusher and Robert Lathan. So it's safe to say things will be a little different. But that's part of the fun of it. I think our kids and our coaches have bought into that. We still have really good players, really hardworking kids. The scheme will tinker some, of course, but we're going to build on the fundamentals. It's always going to be about blocking and tackling, possessing the ball, not turning it over. I don't think those should change for us, but some of the kids that'll be doing, we'll be calling on to do some of the heavy lifting will be a little different.
All right, let's talk about some of those kids. Who have you identified as kind of your leadership group, guys that you expect to take control here and run it from the player standpoint, that the coaches, they're the go-betweens?
Sure. I think offensively, we're going to rely heavily on our offensive line. We returned 4 or 5 starters on the offensive line, and we had a senior in Demir Frazier who played a lot of football for us on the defensive side last year. So we're excited about that group. I mean, anytime you can rely on a kind of a veteran offensive line, it's kind of like a safety blanket for the offensive coordinator and the head coach. So we're excited about that group. Odin Mertz is another young man who's really grown into, we're going to ask him to play some quarterback here on Friday night. He played a lot of football for us last year on offense in the receiver position and also as a safety. So he's a very talented kid, and we're going to ask him to do some things differently, like I mentioned. And, defensively, it's going to be kind of, we're going to attack that by committee. I think our defensive group we return some guys defensively. It's kind of 4 or 5 guys coming back. But again, we're going to tinker with that. We got some guys playing new positions. We got some guys that we're going to call on a step up, and maybe even some young guys that we're going to ask to step into leadership roles also.
When you just talked about Odin Mertz and you said that he's played receiver, he's played safety, it might seem a little bit odd to play quarterback, but when you're playing those positions, you are constantly watching the quarterback. You have to know what's going on there too. Is there value in that?
Absolutely. I think Odin, he was kind of the quarterback of our defense, if you will, on the back end. And we're going to ask him to do that same thing this year. We're not going to shy away from playing him on both sides of the ball. He's a tough kid. He's been a 3-sport athlete here, with baseball, and he's a wrestler in years past. So we're excited about him. I think he's got great football experience. He's a competitor, and we're going to rely on him a lot.
All right, you talked about the offensive line. One thing, even though you do lose Robert Lathan, this team has always been about running the football, and there's always been a next guy and a next guy, and usually next guy right after that.
Sure.
You have multiple guys that you're going to run this year?
We do, yeah. I mean, we're excited about our backfield. We got 2 young guys that are, going to have real opportunity. Last year, they were kind of, they were behind Robert, and Kyron Gordon's going to be a junior for us. He's going to be a big factor. I think people are going to be excited to watch him run the ball this year. He's had a great camp. And then Justin Jenkins is a young man who played some as a freshman for us, stepped in a little bit in the backfield behind Robert. And, he's had a great camp. He's worked really, really hard. So we're excited about those guys. I think I'm happy for them that they're going to get the opportunity to show what they can do.
All right, you're not going to dip your toe into the water. You're taking on Dublin Coffman in week 1. Of course, a Division I team here. What is the challenge for you as you get the season started against them?
Really good team, well coached, well structured. Nick McVeigh over there and his staff, we had an opportunity to see them live with their scrimmages. Just really organized, impressive. We did have an opportunity to scrimmage them last year, so there is a little bit of familiarity there. But, like you said, every year is a little different. So they're doing a good job of getting their program going. He's in year 2 as well. The challenges in facing Dublin Coffman is they return a quarterback who's going to be a junior who played some as a sophomore. So he's got some seasoning. He's a really talented thrower and also a tough runner. So defensively, he's a big focus for us. And then, I would be lying if I didn't say, we're going to have to make sure that our depth is what it needs to be on Friday night. You're playing a Division I team. They're going to have 2 guys where we maybe have 1. And, we're going to have to really be tough-minded. Kind of to overcome some of those things. But we know it's going to be a tough test. They're well coached, very, very fundamental what they do, and a lot of respect for Dublin Coffman.
One thing you don't talk about a lot in high school football is the kicking, but they do have a kicking game. What kind of a challenge does that present? Because, sometimes you can stop a team at the 20-yard line, and they're not going to try to kick a 37-yard field goal. But, if a team has a kicker and somebody that can do that, that's a different little wrinkle, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, especially early in the year with special teams, we addressed that with the team and the staff over the weekend. In 25 years of coaching high school football, you see some wild things in week 1 in particular. And generally, what I told everybody is generally those things, show up around the special teams, the kicking game. So we're going to work hard. It's going to be a point of emphasis this week. We talked about possessing the ball, not having penalties. And, of course, Dublin Coffman's got some weapons there, like you mentioned. They put the ball in the end zone, I'm sure, off the kickoff. And, we're going to have to do a good job of kind of keeping them out of the red zone if we want to keep them off the scoreboard.
All right. I know coaches love training camps. I know you love to plan, you love to practice, but how much are you looking forward to playing?
Listen, it's again, told the kids, like all the things that we've done all year. I mean, you talk about the 6 o'clock in the morning workouts in January and February when it's snowing outside. And then, you kind of build to this moment, week 1. Of course, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm. I just asked the kids this week to make good, strong decisions about, what they're doing so it impacts winning on Friday night. And, we're going to enjoy the journey. We're going to really enjoy the journey. It's a tough schedule. It's a fair schedule. It opens up with Dublin Coffman, who's a really good team. So they're going to be really excited to come play us here week 1. They got a lot of excitement around their program as well. So I think our fans should be really excited, and we certainly are.
I think for many kids, this is probably the most exciting thing about going back to school is going to the first football game.
First full day of kids in the building, and we're playing football on Friday night, so what could be better?
Matt, thank you very much. Good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
All right. If you can't make it to the game, you'll be able to watch it live on the Bishop Hartley YouTube channel.